Okay, welcome back. Problem 13. All right, 13. For division, we're just going to subtract the exponents. So you get 4/3 minus 1. 4/3 minus 3/3 is 1/3. You get 7/6 minus 1. 7/6 times 6/6 is y to the 1/6. I'm going to do the inside first. The top, I'm going to make common denominators with the x's. So x to the third is x to the 9/3. Bottom is x to the 5/3. For the y's, common denominator between a 3 and a 5 is 15. So 2/3 turns into 10/15. On the bottom, 3/5 turns into 9/15. And then z stays the way that it is, all being raised to the third power. So now we got 9/3 minus 5/3, x to the 4/3. 10/15 minus 9/15, y to the 1/15 over z, which is being raised to the third power. So now I got to bring this third power in. 2 to the third power is going to be 8. X to the 4/3 times 3. 3's are going to cancel. This becomes x to the 4th. Y to the 1/15. 1/15 times 3. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 into 15 5 times. So it's going to be 1 over 5. And we got to apply that cube to the bottom also. So this is going to be z to the third power on the bottom. Okay, number 15. Work from the inside out again. Okay. Common denominators. X stays there. 3. We got 4/3 and 2. So this is y to the 4/3. Y to the 6/3. Z to the 1/2. That's being raised to the -1/2 power. So this becomes x to the, times y to the 2/3. This becomes 3z 1/2 times -1/2. Now we're going to flip it upside down. 3z to the 1/2 over x y to the 2/3 to the 1/2 power. So this is going to be 3 to the 1/2 power, z to the 1/4 power, x to the 1/2 power, y to the 2/3 times 1/2. The 2's are going to cancel. Y to the 1/3 power. I know we're not supposed to leave like a radical x on the bottom or a cube root of y on the bottom, but then you just get into that vicious circle again. All right. Because the top and the bottom are being raised to the 1/2 power, I'm just going to take them, get rid of these parentheses. That's separating that. And do this. Then I can simplify the inside a little bit. That's a 4xz over y cubed to the 1/2 power to the -3rd power. Now I'm going to take 4 to the 1/2 power, which is square root of 4, which is 2, x to the 1/2, z to the 1/2, y to the 3/2. That's all being raised to the negative third power. So we're now going to flip the whole thing upside down. Y to the 3/2 over 2x to the 1/2 z to the 1/2 raised to the third power. I'm going to move right over here, then we'll erase this when we do 17. So we've got 3/2 to the third power, so that's y to the 9/2 power. The bottom becomes 2 to the third power, which is 8. X to the 1/2 to the third power, which becomes x to the 3/2. Z to the 1/2 times 3 becomes z to the 3/2 power also. And there's your final answer. Again, sometimes it's okay to leave fractions down at the bottom. Okay, number 17. We're going to work from the inside out. I'm going to go 3 to the third power, but I'm going to leave it like this because I don't want to use really big numbers. X to the third, x to the 9th, times 3 to the 5th. X squared to the 5th is x to the 10th. I'm going to combine some like terms here. 3 cubed times 3 to the 5th is 3 to the 8th. X to the 19th. Now I don't want to do 3 to the 8th. That's a huge number. However, I want to take the 4th root of 3 to the 8th, which is 3 to the 4th, times 3 to the 4th, times x to the 19th. 3 to the 4th, 4th root of that going to be 3. 3 to the 4th, another 4th root of that is going to be 3. X to the 19th, that's going to be 4 x's come out, 16 x's come out, so x to the 4th, and I'm leaving x to the 3rd in there, so my final answer, 9x to the 4th, 4th root, x to the 3rd. Now let's try number 18. I'm going to rewrite this as x to the 1/5 to the 1/3 power times x to the 1/4 to the 1/2 power. That's x to the 1/15th times x to the 1/8, which is x to the 1/15th plus 1/8. Need a common denominator between 15 and 8, which is going to be 120. 120. And this becomes 8 over 120. That's 15 over 120. Final answer. 19. This becomes the square root of 10 root 3 minus 6 root 3, which is 4 root 3. So this is the square root of 4 times 3 to the 1/2 power, which is 4 times 3 to the 1/2 power to the 1/2 power, which is 4 to the 1/2 power times 3 to the 1/2 times 1/2. 4 to the 1/2 power is the square root of 4, which is 2, times 3 to the 1/4 power. Okay, so we're going to simplify this guy up a little bit. Right, you're going to take 3 x's out. Okay, if you take 3 x's out, you get to add one more out here. However, that leaves this x in here. Put the index in there. You can't take one y out, so that must stay. Take 3 z's out, lets you write 1 z outside, but you leave 2 z's inside. Plus, now we're going to clean this guy up. Take 3 x's out, 6 x's out, so I get x squared outside, left 1 inside. Can't take that. 3 z's come out, 2 stay in. The 3 that get written out here gets written as 1. So I got 2x squared z in this quantity, x squared z, that quantity, 3 x squared z times cube root of x, y, z to the second power. Okay, starting from the inside out. The fourth root of 16 is 2. Fourth root of x you can't do. Fourth root of x you can't do. So that's 2 times the fourth root of x minus 1 times the fourth root of x, which just leaves 1 fourth root of x. This is x to the 1/4 raised to the 1/2 power, which is x to the 1/8. 20. Number 22. This becomes cube root 2x over 5 plus square root of x over the square root of 25. Cube root of 2x over 5 plus square root of x over 5. Adding fractions, you add the numerators and just keep one denominator. Now, this really becomes cube root of 2x plus square root of x over cube root of 5. Not allowed to leave radicals on the bottom, so it's a cube root. We're going to rationalize the denominator. So what I got to do is, if this is 1/5, I got to add 2 more 5s in here. Now, you can write it as 5 squared, or you can just write it as 25. So what's happening on the top, you get 2x plus square root of x times cube root of 25. And on the bottom, you're going to get cube root of 125, or just 5 to the third power. Cube root of 5 to the third power gets me 5, exactly what I wanted. And then the top, what we're going to do is we're going to distribute this 25 through here. So this becomes 50x plus 25 square root of x. And then that's done. Problem 23. I'm going to take the cube root of 8, which is 2, cube root of x, which I can't do, so I'm just going to leave it like that. However, I'm going to write it like this now, because this one here I'm going to make 2/6. This one here I'm going to make 3/9. Then we're going to reduce all the fractions. X to the 1/3 minus x to the 1/3 cancel out. Final answer, 2x to the 1/3 power. We're going to come over here. We're going to simplify these guys. You're allowed to multiply radicals as long as all the indices are the same. Okay, so this becomes x times x cubed times x, which is x to the 5th. Y, that's the only y in there. Z squared times z is going to be z to the 3rd. And then there's a 9 in here. Plus, okay, we'll multiply these guys together too. Now this x stays out here because you can only multiply what's inside. So there's only one y, 3 x's, z to the 3rd power. Now we're going to simplify this a little bit. Okay, this is a square root, square root. I'm going to put the numbers first. Square root of 9 is going to be 3. Square root of x to the 5th, that means it's x squared times x squared times x. So we get to bring 2 of these out. Leaves one of them in. Square root of y I can't do. Square root of z cubed, I get to bring 1z out. Leaves 1 in here. This x stays out here. That's another x cubed. Brings me another x out. But it leaves this guy under here. Square root of y I can't do. Z cubed gets me a z out here. Leaves me 1 in here. So 3x squared z plus 1x squared z. These quantities are the same. So it's going to be 4x squared z times the square root of x, y, z. Okay, and that's it for 6.2 practice C. See you in the next video.